Family said they busy, and celebrated Christmas without me. You're a big loser, stepsister wrote me. Next day something happened that no one expected and they begged me, but I. Growing up, Christmas was the only tradition I could count on. My parents divorced when I was 13, and things were never the same after that. Mom remarried Todd, my stepfather, a few years later. We never got along. He was one of those guys who tried to act like a cool dad, but always came off as condescending. Still, I thought maybe this year would be different. About 2 weeks before Christmas, I called my mom to make plans. We hadn't seen each other much that year, so I thought it would help if we spent Christmas together. She agreed pretty quickly. Even Todd chimed in. Yeah, it'll be nice to have you over. Ellie will love seeing you. Ellie is my 4-year-old half-sister, their daughter. Things seemed promising until a day later when Mom asked me for a favor. Hey, Norm, she said casually. We're a little short on cash right now, and I really want to get Ellie something special for Christmas. Could you help us out? I hesitated. It wasn't just Ellie. She also mentioned Kelly, my 18-year-old half-sister from Mom's second marriage. Kelly and I didn't exactly get along. Still, it was Christmas, and I wanted to do something nice for her. I told her I'd send $2,000, figuring that would cover presents for both girls and anything else they needed. Thank you, honey, she said. You're really helping us out. With that settled, I threw myself into work, putting in long hours in the final days of the year. I didn't have much of a social life, so I focused on earning extra income and getting ready for the trip. I even bought some presents for Ellie. But then, 3 days before Christmas, Mom called again. Hey, plans have changed, she said. What do you mean? I asked. Well, something came up. We won't be able to spend Christmas together, she said, her voice sounding strangely distant. Wait, what? We had plans. What happened? It's complicated. Todd's family is having some problems and we just can't do it this year, she mumbled. I didn't press her for details. Maybe something had really happened. Okay, I understand, I said, although I felt a knot in my stomach. I told myself it wasn't a big deal. Plans change. But on Christmas Eve, I sat in my crappy studio apartment and felt that hollow emptiness creep in. No family, no friends, just me and some greasy takeout. I tried to distract myself by scrolling through social media. Everyone else was posting pictures of their perfect Christmases, big family dinners, trees surrounded by presents. Then my phone buzzed with a message from Kelly. Aren't you bored alone? She wrote. Wish you could come, lol. I got a new iPhone 16 for Christmas. And by the way, you must be a big loser to be alone on Christmas. Haha. I froze, staring at the screen. A new iPhone. She wasn't kidding. The picture she sent was of her grinning, holding the sleek, brand new phone. I couldn't believe it. The $2,000 I sent was supposed to be for Christmas gifts for Ellie and maybe some necessities for the family. Not for Kelly to flash around like some spoiled influencer. And now she was mocking me for being alone. I felt anger bubbling under the surface. I immediately tried to call Mom. No answer. I tried again and again. Nothing. Not even a text. She was ghosting me. It hit me all at once. There had never been an emergency. She had lied to me, used me for money, and left me to spend Christmas alone. I stayed up that night, replaying the situation over and over in my mind. The anger wouldn't go away. Finally, I called my father. He was in Europe celebrating with his new family. She did that to you too? He asked after I explained everything. I'm not surprised. Your mom has always been a selfish cheapskate. That's why I left. I didn't know what I was expecting him to say, but hearing it stung. He made it sound like I should have seen it coming. Maybe he was right. I went to bed around 4 a.m., exhausted and bitter. I told myself I was through with them. No more money. No more playing the good son. But life has a way of turning things around. The next morning, something happened that neither of us saw coming. I woke up late the day after Christmas. My apartment was cold and dead quiet. I rolled over and stared at the ceiling for a while, replaying everything from the night before. Kelly's smug text about her new iPhone kept looping in my head. The iPhone I had basically paid for. No calls, no apologies, no Merry Christmas from anyone in my so-called family. I was on my own. I checked my phone more out of habit than anything else and saw a few generic holiday texts from coworkers. Still nothing from Mom or Todd. I groaned and was about to turn over when my phone started buzzing. I blinked at the caller ID. It was Mom. I thought about letting it ring, but curiosity got the better of me. I answered, not bothering to hide how annoyed I was. "What do you want?" I said. "Norman," she blurted out. She sounded frantic, almost out of breath. "Oh my God, we have a huge problem." I sat up immediately. "What kind of problem?" "It's Kelly," she said, her voice shaking. "She took my car this morning without telling us. She crashed it." I blinked, not sure if I heard her right. "Wait, what? Kelly crashed the car? Why was she even driving?" She took it to show her friends the iPhone." Mom muttered. "You know how she is. She always wants to impress people." "You've got to be kidding me," I said, my voice rising. "She wrecked your car so she could bribe her friends with my money? And you're telling me this now? Look, it's bad, okay? The car is totaled. We're in a mess, Norm." I felt the anger boiling over again. They hadn't even bothered to check on me on Christmas, but now they wanted my help because their spoiled golden child had wrecked their only car. "So what do you want me to do about it?" I asked flatly. "We're in trouble, Norman," she said, her tone desperate. "We don't have the money to fix it. Todd's still not working, and with all our bills, we're barely making it as it is. I don't know who else to turn to." The nerve of that woman! She had ghosted me after taking my money, lied about her Christmas plans, and now she expected me to save her from the disaster she had created. I almost laughed. "Oh, so now I'm your lifeline?" I snapped. "You didn't seem too worried about me when you were opening presents yesterday." "Norman, come on," she said, trying to sound reasonable. "This isn't about that. We didn't plan for this." "Yeah, but you planned on screwing me over," I shot back. "I gave you $2,000 because you said you needed it for Ellie. Not so Kelly could play Influencer of the Year. And now this? Maybe it's karma." "Karma?" she repeated, her tone sharp. "Do you have any idea how much stress I'm under right now? Todd can't work, I'm supporting this whole family, and now I have to deal with this car situation. Do you think you're the victim here?" "Yeah, I kind of am," I said. "You lied to me, took my money, and left me alone for Christmas. And now you want my sympathy? Norman, please." She started again, but I was done. "Figure it out for yourself," I said and hung up. The phone buzzed almost immediately. I ignored it. She called again. And again. 7 times over the next hour. I didn't answer once. I couldn't handle her anymore. I sat there for a while, trying to take it all in. Kelly totaled her car. Todd wasn't working. Mom had no money. And now they were looking to me to be their savior. No. They made this mess. I wasn't bailing them out. But deep down, I knew it wasn't over. Not by a long shot. I found out more about the accident later that day, but not from Mom. Ellie's father, my stepfather Todd, called me. He sounded embarrassed and nervous, like he didn't even want to have this conversation. "Hey, Norman," he began awkwardly. "Look, I know things are tense right now, but I just wanted to explain what happened." I didn't say much, letting him work his way through the awkwardness. "Kelly took the car early in the morning without permission," Todd continued. "She went to her friend's neighborhood to show off the new phone. You know how teenagers are. She wasn't speeding, but she wasn't paying attention. She looked down at the phone, and bam, she clipped the back of this guy's SUV." I let out a breath and shook my head. "So how bad was the damage?" "The front of our car is trashed. The engine is busted. We're looking at thousands in repairs, probably more than the car's even worth," Todd admitted. "The other car wasn't totaled, but the owner is pissed. He didn't want the cops involved as long as we paid him out of pocket for the damage. We didn't want Kelly to get in trouble with the law, so we agreed to handle it that way." It all sounded like a total nightmare. No cops, but that meant they had to come up with the money fast. And with Todd out of work, Mom was stuck with the bill. I almost felt sorry for them almost. But that was their problem, not mine. "So what now?" I asked. Todd sighed. "Your mom took out a loan. High interest. We didn't have a choice. But between that and our other bills, I don't know how we're going to make it." I could hear the unspoken plea in his voice, but I wasn't going to offer anything. They'd burn that bridge by lying to me. A few days later, on New Year's Eve, there was a knock at my door. When I opened it, there they were, Mom and Todd, standing awkwardly in the hallway of my building. Mom looked exhausted, her makeup smeared from crying. Todd had his hands in his pockets, avoiding my eyes. "Norman," Mom whispered, "can we talk? Please." I didn't know why I let her in. Maybe I just wanted to hear what ridiculous excuse they'd come up with this time. I stepped aside and closed the door behind them. Mom didn't waste any time. She burst into tears and told me how everything was falling apart. The debt from the accident was crushing her. The guy whose car Kelly had hit wanted full payment by next month, or he'd take legal action. Todd added that the car repairs alone would cost them over $5,000. "Please, Norman," Mom said tearfully. "I know we've made mistakes, but we need you. You're the only one who can help us get through this." Todd joined in, his voice low. "I'll pay you back. I swear. It's just, things are really bad right now." I crossed my arms and shook my head. "You really think I'm going to bail you out after everything you've done? You lied to me, took my money, and left me alone on Christmas. And now you want me to give you more money to clean up Kelly's mess?" Mom wiped her eyes and looked at me, her face hardening. "Norman, stop acting like you're some perfect victim. You've always been selfish, just like your father. He never wanted to help either. Maybe that's where you get it from." That was it. I saw red. "Don't you dare compare me to him," I said, my voice cold. "You're the one who drove him away. And now you're doing the same to me." Mom's eyes widened as if she couldn't believe I'd said it. I stepped back and pointed at the door. "Get out. Both of you. I'm done." "Norm, please." Todd started, but I cut him off. "I said get out," I repeated. "And don't call me again." They stood there for a moment, stunned, before finally shuffling toward the door. Mom looked back one last time, tears streaming down her face, but I didn't flinch. As the door slammed behind them, I let out a long breath. For the first time in years I felt free. After I kicked Mom and Todd out, I thought that might be the end of it. For the next few days, I waited for the inevitable barrage of texts or calls from Mom trying to guilt me. But there was nothing. Just silence. At first it was a relief. I could breathe again without the weight of her problems dragging me down. But as the days wore on, I couldn't help but think about everything that had led up to this point. The $2,000. The fake emergency. The Christmas lies. They only seemed to care about me when they needed something. And for once, I didn't give in. I didn't want to be their ATM anymore. Then, on the fourth day of silence, Kelly reached out. It started with a text. "Kelly. Hey, I know you're mad. But can we talk? It's important." I didn't reply. A few hours later, she texted me again. "Kelly. Please, Norman. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't serious." Still, I ignored her. She wasn't known for telling the truth. But that didn't stop her. A few hours later, my phone rang. It was her. Rolling my eyes, I answered it. "What do you want, Kelly?" "Look, I know things got out of hand," she said quickly. "But we're in a really bad situation. Mom and Todd are freaking out. They don't know how we're going to pay for anything. And, well, they asked me to try and talk to you." Of course they did. I muttered. Norman, please, she continued. I know I was a jerk, okay. I shouldn't have sent that text on Christmas. I was just being stupid. But this isn't just about me. Ellie needs us too. We're all under so much stress and I thought maybe you could at least loan us some money. Just to get us through the next month. I laughed bitterly. Loan? You really think I'm going to lend you money after everything that's happened? Norm, I'm serious, she said, her voice rising. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't bad. We're desperate here. That's not my problem, I said. You all made your choices. You wrecked the car. You fix it. Come on, she said, her tone changing to frustration. You're being selfish. Selfish. The word hit a nerve. I clenched my jaw. Kelly, I'm going to tell you this once. I'm not helping you. I'm sorry for what you're going through, but I didn't cause this mess. And frankly, I don't owe you a damn thing. There was silence on the other end. Then she said quietly, You really don't care, do you? I guess you're just like Dad. I felt my grip on the phone tighten. You want to talk about selfish? You've done nothing but take from me. You didn't care how I felt when you called me a loser at Christmas. But now that you're in trouble, suddenly I'm the bad guy for not rushing to your rescue? She didn't say anything for a moment, then finally muttered, Fine. Forget it. Good idea, I replied and hung up. I thought that was the end of it. But Kelly wasn't done. About 2 hours later there was a knock on my door. I opened it to see her standing there with her arms crossed. She looked annoyed, but also distraught. Seriously? I said, raising an eyebrow. I had to come, she said. Look, Norman, can we talk face to face? Please? I stepped into the hallway, crossing my arms. There's nothing to talk about. I told you no. But you're my brother, she said, her voice cracking. We're supposed to help each other. Help each other? I repeated, scoffing. Like the way you helped me by rubbing your new iPhone in my face? The phone I paid for? She winced, but didn't say anything. Look, I continued. I'm sorry you're in this situation. But it's not my responsibility to bail you out. You've been spoiled your whole life, Kelly. Maybe it's time you learn that actions have consequences. Her face hardened. You know what? You're just bitter. You've always been jealous because you didn't fit in with the rest of the family. I laughed. Jealous? Of you? I leaned in slightly. If you keep running your mouth, I might just take that phone back. You think you deserve it after all? Her eyes widened. You wouldn't dash. Try me, I said quietly. Kelly pulled back and glared at me. You're unbelievable, she muttered and stormed off down the hall. I watched her go, then closed the door behind me. This time I felt no guilt. I was done being used. By January, everything that had happened felt distant, like a bad dream fading into the daylight. After kicking Mom and Todd out and telling Kelly to get lost, I knew I needed a clean break. So I packed up my life and moved out of town. New job, new place, new everything. At first, I half expected her to reach out with some dramatic plea, but it never came. Instead, Mom blocked me on everything: social media, phone, email, the works. I didn't realize it until one day, out of curiosity, I tried to send her a message and saw this cold "message not delivered" notification. I laughed when I saw it. They thought cutting me off was a punishment, like I'd come crawling back. If only they knew how much I appreciated the silence. The move went smoothly, and the new job was better than I expected. I threw myself into work, met some cool people, and settled into a routine. Life was simple. Peaceful. For the first time in years, I felt like I wasn't under someone's thumb all the time. Weeks went by and I barely thought about it. The anger, the betrayal, it all just faded away. Sometimes I wondered if they ever found out about their financial disaster, but I never bothered to find out. They were on their own now. Then, a few nights ago, Dad called. We'd been in touch since Christmas, but this time he had something else on his mind. Hey, Norm, he said casually. I was talking to the family here, and we were thinking, why don't you spend Christmas with us this year? Christmas? I asked, a little surprised. Yes. I know it's a long way off, but we thought it would be good to plan ahead. Come to Europe. We'll show you around, do the whole holiday thing together. A real Christmas this time. I paused for a moment to let the idea sink in. Last Christmas was a disaster, but this time, it could be different. No lies, no manipulation, no guilt. Just a family that actually wanted me around. Honestly, Dad, that sounds great, I said, smiling. Perfect, he said. We'll book the flights and everything when it gets closer. This year will be different. You deserve it. After we hung up, I sat by the window in my apartment, looking out at the city lights. It was strange how things could change so quickly. A year ago, I was drowning in anger and hurt. Now I was making plans for a Christmas that actually felt hopeful. The best part? I didn't feel weighed down by the past. I was free of the drama, the guilt, the endless cycle of being used and discarded. This year was going to be different. I was finally in control of my life. And I couldn't wait to see what came next.